Concept explanation. This particular project meant to be in the city of Ankara as a reform proposal of the Ataturk Cultural Center Park Complex centering the main subject of 19th of May Stadium's demolishment. As in the scale of thousands, the project is not only a suggestion to new park complex project, but a proposal to the national headlines of a reformed country within a century. A pioneer of tomorrow. Concept of becoming a guide to the future of its nation as a capital city, Ankara has the experience and power to lead its citizens. The role model have been doing it since the Republic days of 1920s, and the act of modernism changed the way the world works and the affected the flow of Turkish people. After a century, the world is changed again, so that as in the past, the leader land of this great country should do it again now. There comes the most important question to the main issue hiding behind the curtains: what is the shape of future and what shape will it affect world's inhabitants be? As a novice designer and a young intellect, I am considering this issue deeply. That is why, I have extracted the problem's essence from abstract of imagination to technical proposition. The shape of tomorrow should not be inside of certain rules as of the Renaissance repetition or modern housing, because it cages the very essence of imagination and results with argue on top of denial to the proposition. It should be free, in means of both economically and hypothetically. Being a public space is definitely improve this ideology. The ideology of Homo Ludens will be the core creator of this project's foundation. The humans at play will seek to transform their surroundings and will to recreate the world around, which can be extracted as the need of exploration and creation of the environment is essential for humans. As architects, designers, artists, writers and as of more professions, we always receive the present trends, improved and directed the point to all Homo sapiens ascendants. I suggest let them become the trend of flow. Let them create a domain inside their consciousness, explore that place and share it with others to alter that domain in order to repeat again. A place of shapelessness. A place to become free, not be free. Design explanation. The detailed presentation of this project is under construction, but I will try to explain them by how I decrypted it so far. The abstraction diagram is an experiment of exploration towards shape and color. It should not represent the world we live in, but we have the need of familiarization with it. In order to define future, the contrast colors of outer space is helpful to understand the concept. The representation of Homo Ludens trying to overcome and change their surroundings in the sketch diagram is to give an idea of humans' trial of environmental alteration. It is not meant to be forced physical actions, but the addition of imagination is the key to unite humans with his/hers world around. The Constructio Ludens is an experiment to the known plans in architecture. It tries to give the ability to the construct of playing with itself. Constructions don't have the consciousness to have an ability like this, but human perception can be deceived into experiencing that. Without mechanics but with mere brutalism, the construct is an object built upwards from ground. What if it was brought down from space downwards to the ground? The answer to this question rather hypostatical, and the physics do not approve it. Unless the ground is diverted into zones and given the opportunity of planning it three-dimensionally. Like rocks dropped to the sea, these falling buildings are creating waves and changes the terrain they fell onto. The functionality of these hyper buildings will be a living playground of several exhibitions, so that a possible sandbox for people to alter it with ease. Some of these exhibitions can be about performance arts, neon light shows, street arts, sculpting and exploration, some other actions of skateboarding, hiking, gardening and so on. These buildings will belong to people, and just like pavilions, they will not be permanent as in their current state of change. After a period of time, people will have the opportunity of changing the plans, volume, terrain, function and even the materials within, in order to create a path to the future in a unity of individuals. The landscape design is meant to have gaps inside for public spaces and results from ramping grounds. These sites, in this particular project are labeled as cyan, are programmed with the possibility of various open area activities. But most importantly, the real proposition for this area's program is a pavilion exhibition for nominated national architect firms to design, just like in Hyde Park, Serpentine Pavilion events. The real difference from the Serpentine Pavilion events is that Ludens Pavilion events are for every profession nationwide. Architects and constructors are not alone in this, meaning that most successful farmers and their products, engineers of all sorts with their nominated designs and constructs, artists of all sorts with their nominated designs and arts, and the list can keep on, unless a single person or a team of persons with a dream in mind and a success in hand is sufficient enough to be a pioneer. This project's main objective is to create an opportunity to create and share. This objective will be assisted with the addition of a new football stadium to create nourishment among the fanatics of sports. The stadium itself is a major construction and it affects many of its surrounding with explosive publicity. In order to control it, I suggest the idea of burying the stadium in the ground. The field will have an open roof for weather-related reasons, but the area traded with the seating areas is sufficient enough to create a new square, esplanade, for the park complex. Also the circulation will be under the ground, the entries will be above the ground with a vortex-angled tunnel structure functioning as the controller to explosive publicity and as a nice vantage point for citizens to enjoy the Ludens Park above. As for the older buildings and gyms inside the area, I propose the full restoration of the quality to their golden states as before. The demolishment and redesigning these national treasures of Turkish young modernist architects are unacceptable. They experimented and experienced modern architecture in many of those old gyms. I should respect and clean the rust off, in order to achieve the main objective of this project in means of nationality. Apart from the concept, this area has the problem of publicity in spite of the fact that this area has over 20 bus stops, 4 squares around and a metro line stop inside. The vehicle roads dividing the complex into 3 parts. I propose a designed bridge-like highway in order to lift the vehicles out of this area. One street called Cumhuriyet is one of these dividers and it has historical value to protect, also the property of direct connection to the city's most historic square, Ulus Square. I propose the same method as well, because the vehicles are terrorizing the street as illegal minibus and taxi stops. There are designed legal stops on the highway bridges for this matter as well. After all of these solved, there is the matter of Gençlik Park. The park itself, once glorious, has all the cultural entertainments for the city united. For example, there is an opera house, a theater, a wedding saloon, an amusement park, etc. I propose some changes to the street food sellers to third-generation cafes and intermediate restaurants with alcohol in order to attract people. The responsible operator for these establishments will be the municipality, so that the prices should not be over the board as well. The food and drinks can be supported from the Ataturk Forest Farm, for the least example, and the establishments inside cultural/artistic activities will fund the whole complex as well as advertise it.